My dear clergy and all people listening, this is merely a glimpse into the pastoral zeal and transforming ministry of Bishop Emeritus Merwyn Edwin Castle, first Bishop of False Bay. The passing of Bishop Merwyn into the heavenly realms on 2 August 2021 has been a release for him, but has left a huge void in the lives of his family, False Bay Diocese, AXA, and beyond. He will live on in our hearts. Tributes have been pouring in from across the world, the country, from our ecumenical partners, overseas linked Diocese of York, Cleveland, his brother bishops, including Bishop Paddy Glover, with whom he was consecrated 27 years ago on 5 February 1994. We have received expressions of gratitude from hundreds of people whose lives he touched during his active ministry. His brother bishops, clergy, church wardens, and diocesan organization leaders remember him fondly. Merwyn was born on 2 November 1942. He received his pre-theological training at Cowley House, Pre-Theological College. He was a seminarian at St. Peter's Theological College, FedSem in Alice from 1967 to 1969. In 1974, he attended King's College in London. Bishop Merwyn was ordained as a deacon in 1969 and as a priest in 1970. He held positions in the dioceses of Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Port Elizabeth during his parochial ministry. He was Dean of St. Mary's Cathedral, Johannesburg, and served as the chaplain to Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. Bishop Merwyn served as Bishop Suffragan and regional bishop in the Diocese of Cape Town for 12 years. The Diocese of False Bay was inaugurated on Advent Sunday 2005, and he was elected diocesan bishop of False Bay in 2006. Bishop Merwyn was still in office when I was elected as his successor. He retired at the end of 2012. In an interview after his election, he said that he wanted to be a pastoral bishop, supportive of clergy and their families, and wanted to give priority to Khayelitsha, a fast-growing urban sprawl on outskirts of Cape Town. During his tenure, 2 mission districts and 1 parish were established in Khayelitsha, as also St. Michael's School in Khayelitsha. Between 1994 and 2012, Bishop Merwyn consecrated 15 new churches and chapels. He dedicated 7 church halls and 3 church extensions. 5 parochial districts were declared parishes and 2 new parochial districts were established. His name is on many plaques throughout our diocese and Cape Town Diocese before we multiplied, where he has blessed stained glass windows, gardens of remembrance, parish centres, conference centres, the Horston Hospice and Arniston Chalet. Thanks to Bishop Merwyn, we have 4 care centres for vulnerable children in our diocese. Bishop Merwyn was an avid reader and saw to it that the boardroom also houses a library of books. Our boardroom is named after him. As a bishop, he actively encouraged HIV/AIDS initiatives. Some of our churches still have the board saying that our churches are HIV/AIDS friendly. He saw the need for a social development department and gender desk in the diocese and partnered with Hope Africa to make this a reality in our diocese. It was his desire that the diocese had a full-time youth worker, but sadly this has fallen by the way due to a lack of funding. Bishop Merwyn initiated a bishopric endowment fund. He had a knack for raising money. All Thanksgiving offerings for his life at witness will be going to this fund. We remember the diocesan family days where the diocese came together to pray, play, and picnic together. He chaired 3 diocesan synods. Under his leadership and envisioning processes, priorities were set for the fledgling diocese. It was Bishop Merwyn who established the diocesan office in Somerset West and purchased Bishop's home as accommodation for the bishop. Bishop Merwyn had the gift of administration. 6 archdeaconries were created by him for effective oversight of the diocesan clergy and lay people. Bishop Merwyn looked forward to chapter meetings and synod of bishops' meetings. All the diocesan structures, boards, and committees that we enjoy today were put in place by him, including trusts that he guarded closely as they still enhance and enable specialized ministries to flourish. Care for the clergy and their ongoing enrichment was an important episcopal responsibility of Bishop Merwyn. In 2012, he signed an agreement for False Bay to work closely with the University of Stellenbosch. He nurtured many vocations. We remember well the birthday and anniversary cards received. We continue with clergy formation and lay training platforms that he commenced with. It was Bishop Merwyn that put in place various directors to develop training for ministries. In the province, he chaired the work of the Provincial Liturgical Committee and the Council for Religious Life. He was the liaison bishop in AXA for Anglican Youth Fellowship, Theological Education, and served on the Pensions Board. He is known for cutting-edge liturgy and biblical exegesis. He attended international liturgical conferences. Bishop Merwyn taught us that music in worship must be chosen well, and all the sacraments of the Church are to be administered with reverence and little show. He led pilgrimages to the Holy Land, Greece, Italy, Geneva, and Taizé. In his own quiet, dignified way, he was a gay and gender equality activist. As one who worked closely alongside Bishop Merwyn, I saw him suffer in the furnace of discrimination. He held so much in himself and guarded the unity of the Church. In the Anglican Church of Southern Africa, AXA, he was the first bishop to appoint a woman rector, a woman as archdeacon, and later as senior priest. I happen to be that woman. I quote from Archbishop Tabo's letter to the diocese upon hearing the sad news of the death of Bishop Merwyn. It was no doubt partly in response to Bishop Merwyn's gentle shepherding that such a diverse diocese became a pioneer in South Africa and the province in electing a woman as his successor. It is a God incident that his funeral is taking place on National Women's Day. If we were able to, we would have hired a stadium or huge hall for his funeral, but we are only allowed to have 50 attendees due to the COVID pandemic. His funeral will be live streamed from All Saints Somerset West on Monday at 10 a.m. Today we thank Bishop Merwyn's brother Errol, his nieces and nephew for sharing him so richly with the church. One thing for sure is that he loved his family deeply and dearly. Bishop Merwyn was an excellent cook, especially delicious curry dishes, and it was a highlight to him when he did manage to share an occasional family meal. At Bishop's home, I enjoy the water-wise garden that he created. I remember the sheepdog that lived here with him. It always fascinated me that the name of the dog was Blondie. Bishop Merwyn had the gift of hospitality and hosted Christmas parties for his clergy, diocesan organization leadership, and their spouses at Bishop's home. We so enjoyed the Bishop's Ball hosted by him. Bishop Merwyn, we shall miss your smile, the gentle touch of your beautiful hands at ordinations and confirmations. We will continue the tradition of singing Christ triumphant, ever reigning at ordinations. Thank you for teaching us that God is present with us in our trials and that we must stay prayed up and hopeful. As clergy, we will honor you by doing liturgy properly and for God's sake to preach the gospel. Your preaching and teaching voice has now fallen silent, but your wisdom lives on. We will continue to unwrap the spiritual gifts given us through you. You were a great enabler of the ministries of clergy and lay people. You cared about children, young people, and the elderly. We thank you for the example that you set in looking after your parents. We thank you for your frankness and for not tolerating any nonsense. Your forgiving spirit healed many and gave them courage and strength to get up and try again. Your listening to broken people healed them. Friends, there is much more that we can say about our beloved Bishop Merwyn. We stand on his shoulders and build on the foundations that he has laid. Young people, do work shoulder to shoulder with us as a mighty oak has fallen, and the next generation have to be the new oaks that bear the fruits of his mission and ministry. Rest well, joyfully and peaceful, dear Bishop Merwyn. Pain and tears cannot exist in heaven. Pray for us as we reflect on your goodness during the time you spent here on earth. We are still amidst the turmoil of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the shadow pandemics of gender-based violence and poverty. Pray for us as we respond to the call that we are created for love. As Bishop Merwyn was, let us be mindful of our responsibility to serve the wounded of the world with gentleness and kindness. Bishop Margaret Virtue, 2nd Bishop of Falls Bay.